I work for a church that also has their own cemetery. This cemetery goes back way before 1698. Our office is an old home over 125 years old. One cold and foggy morning, I was driving through the cemetery and had an eerie feeling of being watched or followed. I do not think I ever felt this type of chill. I parked and looked around as though I was going to see someone looking at me from a distance, but no one was there. I'm usually the first one in, so I swiftly went into the house and straight to my office. About an hour or so later, I'm at my computer, drinking my coffee, and the bell from the reception desk rings from downstairs. I jumped a little bit because I did not know the office door was unlocked. As I started to walk downstairs, I hear a soft female voice say, "Hello?" I called out, "I will be right there." I'm making my way down the hall to the stairway towards the front desk. It took me about 1 minute to get down there, and no one was there. All the lights were off since yesterday. I call out, "Hello? Can I help you?" I open the front door, no one there. I check the knob and it's still locked. I close the door and then walk to the library. "Hello? Are you there?" Then I walk to the other side of the house to the kitchen. Lights are still off from when I got in. My office is just above. I make my way to go back upstairs to my office and ring the desk bell. Suddenly, I hear the same voice. "Hello?" I was getting nervous and confused. I shouted, "Where are you?" I run up the stairs and through the hall. No one. Went back downstairs and no one. Then suddenly I felt a cold draft pass by me and chills left me in total shock. I ran straight for my office and get my keys and cell and get the hell out of there. Then the back door opens and I just pause. Shit, that is the door I want to leave from. Then there are footsteps coming from the stairs near my office. I started to shake and breathe heavy, thinking, what do I do? The damn door is open. So I shout, "Who is there?" The footsteps then stop, just near my door. I thought, I am done by a freaking ghost in a cemetery. Then I see the shadow becoming larger, which means they are getting closer. Do I close my eyes? Scream? "Hello? Who's there?" It's me, Melissa. She looks into my office and I am white as a ghost. Fast forward a few months later, during the summer, we tend to have a lot of visitors, same as holidays. The receptionist calls my extension to tell me I have a visitor who would like to introduce herself. So I go downstairs and meet Mrs. Cynthia. She shared with me that she actually grew up in this very home over 80 years ago. She gave me a little tour on how it was set up back then. Once we were by the library, she shared that what is now our back door was actually the front door during her childhood. She said that her little sister used to ring the bell, then run and hide, which drive the housekeeper mad. Mrs. Cynthia is laughing and says, "I miss that little girl sometimes. Rest her soul, she was taken away from us too soon from that influenza." In that moment, I realized that I met her little sister who drove me mad. The one thing I always admire about my job in a cemetery is witnessing the families of loved ones who have passed. See, I work in a cemetery office. There are some family members who visit all of the time, and some on holidays or birthdays or significant days, and maybe when another one just recently passes and needs to be buried. So, for many, many years, Mr. Strongbold visited his late wife Sylvia multiple times a week. And during the warmer months, he would actually have a picnic on Sylvia's grave. Every week there were always fresh flowers delivered on that grave. She was his first and last love of his life. He loved that we had deer that would roam around the cemetery, and said that Sylvia's was like a doe, and they reminded him that she is always with him. He said one day he hoped he would be a buck with her. One time I was walking through that section of the cemetery, waved at Mr. Strongbold, and was going about my business when he waved me over. He was sharing what a beautiful day it was, although in the middle of winter, and how he was really looking forward for his son's visit and his son's family that will be in town over the holiday. It was the day after Christmas. I was walking through the cemetery and admiring all of the flowers and grave decorations. On my way to the office to settle some last-minute end-of-year items, and I see Mr. Strongbold along the way. He just waved, said something. I'm not sure what he was saying. I just smiled, "Hi, Merry Christmas. It's a beautiful day, isn't it?" and went about it. I make it to my office. As I check my emails, I see one from Strongbold Jr. The son was introducing himself and inquiring about his parents' grave. He goes on to share that Mr. Strongbold passed away just before Christmas and wanted to make arrangements for his father to rest near his mother. I was confused at first because I just saw Mr. Strongbold. Are they pre-planning without his knowledge? Did I misunderstand the message? I began to listen to the voicemail a second time, and then I received an incoming call. It's from our local funeral director. He says we have to make final funeral and burial plans for Mr. Strongbold before year's end. I just sat there in complete stillness, shock, and confusion. I immediately looked out my window to look for him, and then put on my coat and made a beeline straight to the Strongbold plots, looking desperately for him. I just kept rewinding that it was real. He just waved at me. Then I was thinking, what was he saying to me? Why couldn't I understand him? I went to the same location he sat. The chair was there, but not him. Instead, there was a family of deer just staring at me, and I am staring back like a deer in headlights. Sure enough, the next day, there was an 8-foot hole where Mr. Strongbold was laid to rest next to his beloved Sylvia. The headstone was engraved December 23rd, 3 days prior to the morning he waved at me.